Hello everyone and welcome to the Creative Noah Land podcast. When do you get to call yourself a proper artist? Is it when you sell your first piece of work? Is it when you've done a master's degree? Is it when you've exhibited internationally and had sellout solo shows and amassed a huge social media following? Or is it when your work is recognised by huge art world names like the Saatchi Gallery or the Royal Academy? Well, our guest on this episode, Sophie Derrick, has done all of that and more, and even she sometimes struggles with that question. So if that's something that you struggle with as well, then you're definitely not alone. Sophie is a portrait artist, often using herself as the subject and the canvas, who plays with the dualities of photography and painting, the real and the abstract, tactile paint and the flat image to create work that is both bold and in your face, and also kind of hidden and intriguing. In this episode, Sophie talks us through her creative journey, from studying fine art at Leeds University, finding her distinct style and some of the ideas behind that style, to some of the challenges of navigating the art world while doing a master's degree at the same time. The classics, imposter syndrome, and the solitude of being alone in the studio a lot as an artist with little or no feedback coming your way. We talk taxidermy animals and about an interview to work for Damien Hirst, what it's like exhibiting internationally and at galleries like the Saatchi Gallery, and what it was actually like to be selected for the Royal Academy Summer Show. But we also talk about, in Sophie's words, her best body of work and solo show, Close to Nothing. And, most impressively, what it looks like trying to create, follow your passion, and be a quote-unquote proper artist while being a busy mum of 3 young children. No easy task, as I'm sure you can imagine. You can check out the links to Sophie's work while you listen to the podcast, of course. But for now, let's get into it. Sophie, thank you so much for doing the Creative Noah Land podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We've just discussed before we started, actually, or I've mentioned to a few people that I was doing this podcast with you, and they've gone, oh, Sophie Derrick, she's a proper artist. Do you remember the day when you decided that you could call yourself a proper artist?
I don't know. I'm not sure if that was like a particular exact time, but it did take me a really long time to feel like I could say that.
And I asked you that because when we spoke about doing the podcast, there's a moment in your story, in your timeline that we will go into, where your mum turned to you and said, come on, Sophie, when are you going to call yourself an artist?
Yeah. I think I'd been like selling stuff for a while and doing stuff. I had been like making work and having shows and stuff, but I don't know. I think I felt like you had to like have all the qualifications and being a full-time artist and nothing else, and you could call yourself a real artist.
Do you consider yourself a real artist in inverted commas now?
I guess I kind of do now. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. It always feels weird, doesn't it? I don't know why it feels like a bit.
I asked that because from the outside looking in, you've got a huge social media following. You've done lots of art fairs. You've had solo shows. You've been award nominated, shortlisted for prizes. On paper,
yeah,
to the outside world, you are, quote unquote, the proper artist.
Yeah. I think maybe I didn't feel like I was until I was doing it like as my proper job. And that's not to say if other artists have got other things going on, that they're not proper artists. I don't know. I just felt like, for me, that was just like, okay, now this is literally all my life. So I guess I have to call myself an artist now. I don't know.
I guess what I'm trying to get to is, at the bottom of it all, is that universal imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You've done all these things and all these people go, wow, look at Sophie Derrick. Amazing. But yet you still suffer from that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I still do now. And I don't know, it's such a weird thing, isn't it? You never, like we were talking about before, I think just being on your own in the studio, not ever. I mean, I do see people sometimes, but the majority of my time is in the studio on my own. So I don't really, I don't know, I guess there's like social media, but I never really properly get to see what other people think or.
But does not being invited to take part in these art fairs, having solo shows, all those other things, we'll get to another quite poignant one, which we won't talk about yet, but have you not given yourself irrefutable proof throughout your career that you are an artist?
Yeah, I guess so. I think you get to do some of those things and then you're like, yeah, I feel really good about myself. It's all great. I'm a proper artist. And then, I don't know, you'll be like, oh, I really need to do some new stuff and I need to do more and I need to like work on this and that.
That confidence
The
comes in
confidence
waves.
kind of goes, yeah. And then you're like, oh God.
And like
I'm not as good as other people and they do that whole imposter thing.
And being alone in your studio must be difficult for validation as such. Is it that feedback or?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. That is the word feedback, because it's not necessarily like what other people think of you. It's just, more of a not really knowing how people are interpreting things or like viewing things. And so, it's hard to get through that when you're just on your own in the studio and you just go down a hole of like,
rabbit hole of,
oh God, this is rubbish.
It's human nature though, right?
Yeah.
The negative bias that's all in us. Our brain's designed to keep us safe. So it's just going to go, oh no, this is rubbish. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the work then?
Yeah.
Because you've got a very distinct and defined style.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your style?
Yeah, I will probably have to go back to the beginning of this situation because it all started at uni. I've always been into figurative work and I always would come back to figurative kind of ways of making stuff. But I also always loved conceptual art and installation art and different facets of art. And I don't know, I love things that have a really good idea behind them, but they're also like really visually interesting.
And your work is definitely visually interesting, striking.
But anyway,
as we're an audio podcast, can I be a bit cheeky and ask you to describe what your work looks like?
Yeah, so there are portraits, I'd say contemporary portraits. And what I do basically is I paint onto myself and take tons of photos. And then I will pick a few of them and print them as acrylic prints. And then I paint over the top of them. So I'm like flattening out the paint and then reanimating it over the top, a mixture of painting and photography and slightly sculpture elements. Yeah.
Using this kind of impasto sculptural brushstrokes, so it's really thick and textured. And
really thick texture, big brushstroke.
So I know there was a kind of specific moment where you found this style, but I've got a really random one. What were you creating before you found it?
I was making portraits, mostly self-portraits actually, but they were...
Why self-portraits? Because that's carried over into your...
I think just literally because it's easy and I could just look at myself in the mirror and do it.
There wasn't something about you wanted to be the art? Or...
No.
Because now you are the art.
Yeah, I know.
But
and that's
yet there is a barrier.
Yeah. And that is one of the things about my stuff. I'm like, no, not me, not about me. Because I don't know, I never intended it to be anything about me.
Was it simply just because you were there?
Yeah. Maybe subconsciously there's other things. I definitely think now with my current work that there is a subconscious kind of personal element to them.
You studied fine art at Leeds, and this is where you found this. Can you talk us through the process of what led you down this style route? It was a specific sort of module from your university course. Yeah,
so I was making all this figurative work, self-portraits. I was doing other portraits too, but I was like taking photos of myself in a kind of like angsty pose because I was in a bit of a like, I don't know what to make. I want to do painting, I want to do portraits, but I need something more from it. So I was making all these kind of angsty portraits. At the same time, so my course was half history of art. So in the history of art side of things, I was doing a module about masking. It was so interesting. I loved it. It was about African masking and just all masking throughout the ages and in art and everything. I don't think I even connected this up, but it was definitely subconsciously because I was doing that module that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just mask myself with the paint and make myself into a painting, become this other thing. because in the African masking, it was about them making these really intricate, amazing masks. And then they'd have to go away from their family, go on their own into a separate space and put the mask on, don the mask, and then they come out and they become this other person that is completely other entity, this other kind of personality.
And was that
was like
in the
part of that?
You wanted to be a different person, you were frustrated,
maybe,
present yourself differently?
Maybe. I think now a big part of it is, I always remember I did this personality testing, like a really proper one. And one of the things, the only thing I remember about it actually, is that it said that I'm an introvert trying to be an extrovert. And I feel like this is my work now with the epitome of an introvert trying to be an extrovert. Like me as just a figure covering myself, masking myself with this crazy, bright, bold mask and presenting that to the world.
Do you remember the first moment after you've discovered this masking style in the history of art? Do you remember the moment when you first started going, right, I'm going to paint on myself?
Yeah.
Did it start
very well.
More simply? Did it start as a flat image and then you painted on that? Or did you go straight onto
No,
painting?
went straight into paint on my face. I just really remember being in my tiny little bedroom in Leeds and being like, yeah, maybe I'll do some more self-portraits. I'll paint myself. Or maybe I'll just paint on myself. And then I just was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And first of all, the first time I ever did it was with acrylic paints. And I did put on like a Vaseline layer, but it was still very painful. Because it obviously just dries.
And cracks.
Because it's like plastic, isn't it? So
yeah.
It just dried really quickly, but it did look really cool. And it came off in one like mask.
Oh, wow.
So it was like cool, but
we probably should put a caveat. It's not the most advised thing
no,
to start putting
I would not
paint on
advise
yourself,
anybody to.
and we will discuss how Sophie gets
Yeah,
around that issue later in the podcast. What was the response from your peers, from your tutors?
Yeah, it was really good. I got a really good grade for that, for doing that, and that kind of spurred me on.
Bolstered the confidence.
Yeah, I was like,
oh, I found
this
something
is
here.
really a cool idea to do. So yeah, it kind of went from there, because I was just doing the photos on this really crap little camera. This was like 2007.
Yeah.
I think I had a phone, but there was no like camera phones or anything. Like, it was like, one of those tiny little flip ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just had, I think it was my friend's little instant digital camera thing. I was just taking those photos.
But
they came out really
didn't
cool.
really matter if you're going to then paint onto them.
Yeah. I actually didn't start painting onto them for a while. So it was just like the image, the sort of raw image was the work at that point.
Okay.
And then I started painting with oil paint.
Which again is probably
Also,
more dangerous for your skin.
Not advised. Yeah.
Not advised, yes.
But yeah, that kind of looked really good too. Looked really good.
Was that where you started to see the thickness and the...
Yeah, that kind of gave a bit more of a thickness to it. But I didn't get to this thickness stage as I'm doing it now until after uni. Because I got asked to do this show at the Leeds Library, and I had to choose a book from the library to use and use that as an inspiration to make a piece of work that would then be in this show.
What book did you choose?
And
Sophie?
I chose an Auerbach book because my tutor before had been saying, like, oh, you should really look at him. And I didn't do that. I think I might have just looked him up, but not really properly looked into it. So, yeah.
Oh, have you got the book there?
This is not the book, but this is then my book that I bought, and it became like my Bible. Which is covered in paint.
And what was it about his work that stood out to you when you started looking into it that felt like it connected?
It was just so painterly. I just loved the way he can make a face, make a portrait out of just like really, really abstract brush strokes, but you can get a sense of that person so well from it. And yeah, I think I just really loved the painterly aspect of his work. So I basically recreated his work onto me, literally onto my face. And from then on, I got this book and I basically copied loads of his brush strokes or his color palettes, or I don't know, some of the early ones from this are like very similar.
Really?
to his work, but just recreated onto me. Yeah.
Did you find that was part of a sort of an experimenting with style phase and you getting used to your finding?
Yeah. And then that was when I started to paint on top of them too, because I just wanted to have that kind of tactile, painterly, impasto feeling on the surface as well as in.
And that's, like you say, very much defined what you do
Yeah.
moving forward.
Yeah.
So what was that, 2008, 2000?
That was probably, 2000. Yeah.
So you've come out of university, you found this sort of style.
Yeah.
What does that look like for an artist coming out of university? Did you have the grand dreams of, I'll just come out of uni, I'll be an artist and that'll be my day job, that'll be my life?
Yeah, I don't know what I thought. No, I don't think I thought. I thought that you can't be an artist. That's just not.
Even though you've studied it, you've done
I really remember
the work, you still can't come out and be an artist.
I remember being on my course and one of our tutors saying, put your hand up if you want to be an artist after when you finish this course. And literally probably about 2 or 3 people put their hands up and there's 40 people in our class. I think people just didn't think that you could do it. I don't know. So I think back then it was more difficult to be an artist, and not more difficult, but there wasn't as many opportunities, I don't think.
It was definitely a different time.
It was a
because
different
you didn't
time.
have, say, social media fame.
Yeah.
You couldn't distribute your work to the masses on, I suppose at those times, you're blogging maybe and a few art websites and stuff like that. But
I mean, it was
no smartphones.
No, it was literally, you have to apply for loads of exhibitions.
And is that what you were doing? You came out of uni, even though despite not thinking you could be an artist, you still started plugging away.
I was like, I probably can't do it as a job, but I do really think that there's something in this work that I'm making that I really can't let go, and I really want to push it and try and get out there and just see what happens.
What does that look like though? To a graduate art student, what does that look like in terms of, are you working a job, creating?
Yeah.
What are you applying to?
Oh my God. It was a really hard time actually, because it was 2008 when I graduated. It was like the recession. So there was like no jobs anyway. And I stayed up in Leeds for 6 months or something and lived with my friends. I had a job in Kirkgeiger in Harrogate, 15 hours a week, and literally had no money at all. And I wasn't making artwork then because I didn't have any money to make it or like base or anything. And also I think I was just in a bit of a, don't know what I want to do. Don't want to be an artist. I literally had no idea what I was going to do.
But again, is that just because we've all been taught the starving artist narrative is just,
probably
that's what happens?
Yeah, I think so. Even though like my parents were very, they were like, yeah, go and do what you want to do thing. But I think they were also a bit like, that it would be hard be an artist. And I think just the general kind of ethos at that time was that it's a bit of a far-fetched job to have. You're not going to make much money. You have to have another job as well. And
but again, the starving artist narrative has just been so pushed on everybody that it's not even practical, but very different time now.
Yeah, it is really different now.
So was there a moment you're working at Kirkgeiger?
Oh, yeah.
You're doing 15 hours a week, probably not creating much. You've done this project with Leeds Library.
Yeah, so I'd done a couple of shows actually, and that made me think, okay, I need to keep going with this and need to...
Just through applying to shows yourself? Or
my tutor nominated me for the Banbury Gallery Prize. It was a gallery in London. And I was like, thank you so much, that's amazing. And that really, made me think, God, maybe there's something in this. So anyway,
confidence-wise?
Yeah, confidence-wise. So I had a couple of shows. And I was just like applying for loads of stuff. I had to move home, which was not fun.
After 3 or 4 years of freedom at university, you're now on a curfew, back under mum and dad's.
I want to be here, like in Wiltshire, in the middle of nowhere. Like it was.
Did that feel important though? The geography of what you were doing?
Yeah, I really wanted to move to London. I wanted to.
Because all artists just live in London.
I was like, when I move to London, I'm living in Shoreditch.
Live off bread and water.
Yeah. And I just couldn't because I had no money. And I ended up having 3 different jobs. I worked in a gallery and a pub and like a clothes shop.
Just doing anything you could just to
yeah,
make
literally
ends
trying to
meet.
make some money. And also my mum and dad actually, luckily, they had this little outbuilding and they let me use it as a studio.
Oh, cool.
So I did a really cool little studio.
So they must have had a bit more belief in you as an artist than perhaps you
No,
realised.
I think they did. I think they did, but I think they also just wanted me to be okay and stuff.
So while you've got these 3 jobs, is this where you read the Sunday Times article about degree art?
Oh, yeah. So I read a little thing in the paper about them, and I think they just started up. And
Can you say a little bit more about who degree art are?
so
and what they
they
do?
were the first online art gallery. So they pioneered that. I think they started it in 2007 or something. But obviously I didn't know about it then until I'd finished uni. And then, yeah, I saw an article in the paper about them. I thought they sounded cool. So I went on their website and you could apply to be with them. So I did, and then they accepted me. And then they do the signature art prize. I applied for that and then got into that. And then they sold a couple of pieces that I put into that.
What does that do for your mindset?
Yeah, I was like,
in that?
God, amazing. That is a real confidence boost.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
Someone, not your friends, not your family, not your mum, not your auntie, buying your work.
Yeah, that was like a huge deal to me then. Because someone actually wants to buy this. That's really cool.
And working with degree art, that was quite a pivotal moment, right?
Yeah, so after that, then they took me to, I think it's the Bristol Affordable Art Fair, and then they sold everything, I think, there.
All sold out.
Yeah, which was also amazing.
Yeah, mind-blowing. There's some people
Yeah.
that would just dream of getting into one of these art fairs. You've gone to your first Bristol Art Fair and sold out everything. That must be...
I went to the next one, though, and I hadn't sold anything, so just a little reality check there. But yeah, that one was really good. And then after that, I think they offered me a solo show.
And how does that help you in terms of, again, your confidence, your evolution as an artist? Does that make you just believe in yourself a little bit more and try and push yourself a bit further?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just also the reality of actually having some money to then make new work.
Because I suppose we should say, while you had these 3 jobs, you saved to produce.
Yeah, so I saved up £1,000 and then I made 4 pieces of work from that £1,000 because making prints the way that I do is so expensive. Actually, I think back then it wasn't actually acrylic prints. It was just like a G-clay print but mounted and everything. And they're so expensive. So yeah, I made 4 pieces. Just hoped that they might sell, and then
were those 4 pieces the pieces that you gave to Degree Art to sell to show up the art fairs?
Yeah, I gave them to them. Yeah, luckily
sold out.
They sold, so I was like, "Oh God, okay, amazing!" And then I could make some more, and
in that same style, as in the G clay prints, and you print, you paint then on top of
so
those.
I did that for probably 3 years or something.
Oh right, okay,
maybe a bit less, but.
How was that style in that 3 years? How was that style shifting, evolving, changing? Was it a process thing?
Those were my heavy hour back years. So I literally would go through this book and be like, yeah, that looks really cool. And I had to recreate it onto me. So they were very formative years, I say, for my style. And then after that, I think they've got a bit more, probably a bit slicker. Okay.
Polished.
A bit more polished, yeah.
I suppose that comes with just technique, though, right? You get used to...
Yeah, I think you just hone more skills, don't you?
So everything, realistically, you're selling out art shows, art fairs, you're having solo shows. You are the artist.
Yeah. No, I definitely wouldn't have called myself an artist then.
No, and then something else happens, doesn't it?
Then I went and did an MA. So that was literally just, I think, the same week as I had my solo show, my first solo show. I then started my MA.
And can we go into this? Because realistically, you're doing the verb. You're being the artist. But what did, again, some imposter syndrome kick in where you went, oh, I should do another qualification to really register that I'm an artist?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why. I think one of my tutors at Leeds had said, you should go and do an MA and then you can really delve into this work and push it further and all this sort of stuff. And that kind of lodged in my brain. And then, I don't know, I just felt like, again, back then it was such a different time. It's not like this at all now, I don't think. But I just felt like I had to do an MA to be a proper artist.
It was
Or
quite
like,
qualification led, wasn't it? Oh,
yeah,
you've gone and really, like you say, studied your practice and delved into the
yeah,
depths of it within the MA. So I must be a proper artist.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
say,
And
very different time though now.
yeah. And I did really want to do that. I did want to, because I had loads of other ideas of things to do with this and this concept. And I really wanted to push it further, but that kind of didn't really happen.
But did you feel that at the time when you were applying for the MA, that did it feel like the right thing to do then? But in hindsight,
yeah,
were you running away from being the artist that you were already being?
maybe. I don't know. I remember it being like a real, should I just go and get a studio at Wimbledon Studios and just carry on this wave that I was kind of...
Had you moved to
on.
London at this point, or did you
No,
move to London
I was still
for
living...
the MA?
I moved to London just before the MA, like the summer before.
So you studied the MA in Wimbledon, right?
Yeah.
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 I'm going to ask you another random question. Maybe you're very humble. How did your fellow students on the MA react to you doing the MA, someone who's come and you've sold out art fairs and you've done these things?
There was a couple of people that I think they knew degree art, so they did know my work, and they were like, "Oh, hi." I think a couple of people were like, "Oh, you've got a show on now.
Yeah.
What are you doing?"
Did you ever think that about?
I think what I thought was that I was going to do all these ideas anyway and push this work anyway. So why not just do it on an MA and get a qualification for it? I think that's what I thought, but it didn't turn out that way.
How was the MA for you then? And because we spoke and you didn't feel it progressed you really?
No, I really didn't enjoy it, actually.
If anything, maybe set you back a bit?
Yeah, it did.
Can you say a little bit more about that? In what way?
I think I got there, and I think most art courses, they want you to break down what you're already doing, and you always have to start again. And I obviously had gone onto that course thinking, this is fine, I've got my idea, I'm going to do this, that. And that kind of wasn't really the case. You're there with loads of other people who are amazing. And I don't know, maybe it sort of brought me down a peg or two.
But this is where, going back to my original question about when you get to call yourself an artist, because this is when you decided to go back for your MA. This is when your mum turned around and said, "Come on, Sophie, why are you going back to university? Yeah. When are you going to start calling yourself an artist?"
Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't really, it wasn't the right time for me to do that. I probably should not have done it at that time. I should have just continued doing my thing. But I don't know. It was also really intense because it was a year. It was only a year course and it was full time. I didn't really have any other time to be making the stuff that I had been doing before. And
did that affect you in the sense that before the MA, you're selling out shows, you're making work, and it's just that sort of, I can just get in, make the work.
Yeah.
And then that step back of going, I've got to deconstruct all this work, when actually I don't really need to deconstruct it. I need to move forward with it and create more.
Yeah. So I ended up, liked the stuff that I made on my MA. Looking back at it now, it was quite similar, but I went off on a different tangent with it.
In what way?
So I started painting onto taxidermy animal.
Oh, okay. I did not expect you to say that, Sophie. I've done my research, but I haven't found those images.
That's a little buried.
I have got some very strange images in my brain right now. Please explain. You started painting on taxidermy animals.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know why I thought, I can't really fully remember what happened to make me think, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got to do something else. But
was that the sense of being in education, the pressure of, I've got to break my style down and understand what at the crux of the style is you.
Yeah.
Being the art, being hidden by the arts.
Yeah, so I went off on this little tangent of like...
It's got images of taxidermy ferrets covered in bright pink paint.
Yeah, it was fox, mainly fox.
A fox?
Yeah, and birds. Because taxidermy is really expensive too, so I could only really afford birds, and then someone gave me this fox. That's really weird.
Sophie, we've got to find some pictures of this painted fox.
I've got one up there, I'll show you.
I've got a painted fox upstairs.
Oh yeah, I've got it, it's upstairs.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a complete departure.
Yeah.
How it broke you down to get to foxes.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know, but I was like, I'm going to retain this bit of my practice of painting onto things. I'm going to do it on animals. But then it became like a whole thing about, it was a different concept. It was like, I went into how we try to depict the animal kingdom and how we try and like capture animals with our way of seeing them and all that kind of stuff.
Were you
It
trying
went
to be
down very
too
deep.
arty for your own good, I think?
Probably.
I'm on an MA. I've got to really push this idea. But that sounds so far away from what you're doing.
I know, it was. And
how did you bring it back then?
I finished my MA and I did all this tactile stuff and I wasn't really into it. I feel like a year actually was not enough time to like make a whole new practice, a whole new sort of concept. So I don't know, after the MA I was just like, I actually was like, I don't even think I want to be an artist anymore. I'm gonna have to go and get like,
but during your MA you're still presumably rep by degree art.
Yes, I was. And they were still taking me, they still took me to, I think they took me to the Battersea Art Fair. So they were still selling my stuff, but it was like very sporadic that I was able
But was that because your focus wasn't there and was on the MA and painting foxes?
Yeah, painting foxes. Yeah, I don't know. I was very beaten down, I think, after that MA, because also I don't know why I even did it, because I hate art education. I hate doing crits. I hate doing all those things. And
sketchbooks
especially
to justify your ideas.
Yeah, especially on an MA, the crits are like horrible. They are brutal. And it just makes you be like, okay, well, fine. I'm just not going to do it.
You can swear, don't worry.
If you all think it's that shit, then I'm not going to do it.
I'll just give up. I'll live in a dark room and I won't do it ever.
Yeah, what's
that like coming out when you, I don't want to say you put your belief in an MA going, oh, that's the thing that's going to really define me as an artist, and it actually had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
You've come out and going, I don't even know whether I want to be an artist now.
I did. I felt really deflated. And actually, I had to go and get a job because I'd spent all my money doing this MA. So I went and got a full-time job at M&S I was doing visual merchandising, kind of admin stuff as well.
And this is the bit that probably people looking in now will go, yeah, it hasn't all been plain sailing.
No, absolutely not.
Working for M&S as visual merchandiser, did that feel like, I know it was essential, but did it feel like a step backwards?
Yeah, it was. It was a really fun job and I had a really great time there, but I would never really, my heart was not in it. It wasn't like, I couldn't have progressed there because I just was like, I don't really want to do this.
And while you're at M&S, behind those commitments that a full-time job brings, doesn't again allow much time for outside creating. No. Were you creating?
I was. Actually, while I was there, things did pick up again with my artwork, and I did have, a couple of solo shows actually with degree art again.
Are those moments when you're having these solo shows, but in full-time work?
Yeah, I know. Well, degree art, Isabel and Eleanor that own degree art were like, Sophie, you really should just be a career artist. Just do it.
That's very easy for someone else to say, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
you've got to believe in yourself.
I really have to make some money too. And I was living in London, and
that comes with its
pay rent and everything. Yeah, I think I was just too scared really for a while to properly do it.
But again, you previously had these signifying moments where you'd sold out shows, you'd been recognised, you'd been shortlisted for prizes, you'd done these things. But yet that imposter syndrome's still strong. You didn't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm just thinking of artists that I know who would dream to be at Hampstead Art Fair or dream to be shortlisted for a prize, and they're just making art for the sake of making art. No recognition, no anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I just was like, I can't. It is a scary leap, isn't it? To just be like, I'm just going to be my own boss and I'm going to do all that myself. And actually, in some ways, I think I am a bit better at making artwork if I have something else going on at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, because obviously now I'm a mum as well, so that's like my other job.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that, how you balance being a mum of three.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if all of my, everything relies on making artwork, or just everything is about making artwork, I can't do it. It's too big, too much pressure. Because after my MA, I think I did have a couple of months where I was like, I'm just going to get back into what I was doing before the MA, and I'm going to push that and I'm going to do it. And then
no more taxidermy foxes.
Yeah, no more taxidermy. I think it was just a really hard couple of months, and I was like, shit, I need to actually get a job. So I think, within that couple of months, I didn't really make much work. I think I was just, because it's I need another something to take the pressure off, I think.
Does your work need an outlet as well? If you're just making work when you're in full-time job working for M&S, did you need that outlet? Oh, I've got a show, or I've got a deadline, or I've got a man with a van coming to pick my work up.
Yeah. I think I still had that need to make stuff and keep my foot in the door of the art world.
That's a tough one though, isn't it, when you're working full-time?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there was definitely like some months where I wouldn't make anything.
How much work do you reckon you made in that 3 years?
God, I don't know. I definitely had one solo show, and that was quite a lot of work. And then I would have made stuff for the art fair. So I probably did make maybe 3 new series or something.
And how many are in a series generally?
Actually, back then, I wasn't really working in series. I'd just do like
one-offs.
Yeah, and maybe do a couple from that shoot.
Is that because the process is long of painting yourself?
Yeah, then I was like, I cannot be like doing this every week or something. Because at the beginning, I was doing it quite a lot. It was just a lot. It is a huge process, and it's really, like I'm absolutely knackered at the end of it because it's the whole painting process has such a physicality to it.
And have you got anyone that's helping you take the photos? Or is it quite a personal?
Yeah, literally no.
Is that intentional? You don't want anyone else?
Yeah.
Again, it's that relationship.
I don't think anybody has ever been in the room when I've been painting myself.
See, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think
these are essentially self-portraits.
Yeah.
But again, you're hiding yourself.
Yeah. I think it comes back to the African masking thing of them having to go away and be completely on their own to don this mask to then be able to become this other person. And I think that is a very similar thing. I could not do it with anybody around me because I couldn't get into the zone. I couldn't because it is quite meditative. It's quite like you get into a bit of a zone with it. So yeah, I think if someone else is there, I'd feel like on edge. And don't look at me.
I think there's a self-consciousness that comes with anyone else being present when you're having your picture taken or when you're painting. When you look at the work, do you see yourself or do you see a character or?
I don't really see myself. I see, a different version, I suppose, or different person.
Is that part of why you create the way you create?
Yeah, maybe. I think I could never put like my unpainted face into a piece of work. That's too like revealing for me.
Because there's elements where I see as a photographer, Cindy Sherman, and she does a lot of self-portraiture, but she's very much characters within it. She'll dress herself up like an old woman, or she'll dress herself up like a prostitute. She'll dress herself up like a character.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they're like specifically characters, but they're like other, I don't know what the word is, like other kind of versions, I suppose, a different person. So it's not like a character, but it's a new person. But actually, if you look at that piece up there, it's very different to these. Like that,
that's much more owl back to me.
Yeah, so that was
rougher,
earlier. That was 2013. Because I did, after my MA, actually, I did go and do a residency at Degree Arts Gallery when they were in Bethnal Green or Viner Street.
How was that for you? Are these all baby steps in rebuilding that confidence, reinstilling that idea of, I do want to be an artist, I can be an artist?
Yeah, I think I always had that. I always had that desire to be an artist and make stuff. I think I really felt like I could do it with this work that I was making. If I wasn't really making work that I liked or that I thought was good, then I probably would have gone off and just stayed at M&S or something. But I think I had quite a belief in my work and I just felt like I could push it.
And then you were still getting this validation from these external elements, the degree art. And then, is this where we hit 2016? And a certain quite famous exhibition?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask, Sophie, is this the moment where you go, oh, okay?
I think it was a kind of a build up to that because I think it must have been like 2014 to 2016 was quite a good time in terms of I've started selling quite a lot and I was doing the affordables and stuff. And
What do you equate that change to?
I think I had started working a bit more in series.
But you're still at M&S at this point?
I was still at M&S, but yeah, I think I was just making more work and making the work as it is a bit more now, so a bit slicker. I started doing it on the perspex rather than the G-clay prints. And that kind of elevated it a bit, I think.
What was the moment where you went, oh, I can paint on a different material?
I remember, I think I'd seen like an acrylic print somewhere and I thought, oh, that looks really cool. I wonder what that would be like to paint on. And so, yeah, I did one little experiment one and I really liked it and it just looked really cool. And also with the G-clay prints, because obviously I was painting onto them with oil paint, the oil would seep into the print a bit, which is a little bit of an issue, but I would just paint over the top of it. But
that's a learning curve.
Yeah, that was just like experimenting, that was just the early day. So yeah, I started doing it on these acrylic prints and doing these really big brush strokes. And yeah, I think I started then also doing the really big prints, like 100 by 150.
Which suddenly takes them to a... They're so bold, so stunning.
It makes them like really...
In your face.
So I think that picked things up a bit more. So like 2014 to 2016, I'd started doing those kind of prints. And then 2016, I got into the RA Summer Exhibition.
The Royal Academy Summer Exhibition, which is a big deal, really.
Yeah. And it was amazing. It was a really big point in my career. I think because it was a 100 by 150 size piece, so it was a really big one. And it was in a room that had just a few really big pieces in it. So it was quite like boom there.
Hey, sorry for interrupting. This is just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this episode, there are a couple of really easy ways that you can support the podcast. You can hit the support the show link in the show notes or consider grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noahland shop on the website. And don't forget, community members get free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join. Thanks again for being part of the Creative Noahland community, and now, let's get back into it. And did they not? They ended up using your image as one of the flyers or the poster.
Yeah, they made a poster of it, and it was like available to buy in the shop and stuff.
Do you get anything from that?
I think, what was it? It was like they could either give me 20 prints or give me, I can't remember how much it was, like £100 or something.
Oh, but not like a percentage of sales then?
No,
just the honour of being the Royal Academy show was enough.
Yeah.
But as a result of that, presumably more eyes were on your work.
Yeah. And it did really elevate things again. And
are you an artist at this point, Sophie?
Yeah, I think I was getting there. I think I was nearly able to say that. But I was still working at M&S, but I was also pregnant with my first child. And
this is where things change a bit.
Yeah.
Because then as a result of being pregnant, you leave Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah, so I think for a while I was just like, I'm just going to hang on in here until I can get my maternity pay, which I'm not sure that's a really bad thing to say.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, M&S. But yeah, I was like, okay, get my maternity pay, and then I'm going to just try and do my artwork and see what happens with it.
Was that not quite daunting, though, being pregnant with your first child? God, I've got to deal with learning how to be a mum while creating art.
It was actually really wild because I remember having him when he was like 2 weeks old, and I'd done loads of little portraits, and then suddenly, because of the RA thing, loads of people were buying them, which was amazing. But I remember him being like 2 weeks old and having to be packing up all these bits of pieces and stuff and sending them out to people and being like, I can't pay for this right now. Oh my God.
Goodness me. I can imagine.
So it was a bit of a crazy time. But yeah, like I look back on that year now and I'm like, I don't know how I did that, because I had another solo show as well with Degree Art when Wilf, my little boy, was 10 months old.
So this is close to nothing.
Yeah.
2017.
2017. Yeah.
And this, you told me, is in your
Yeah.
words, your best body of work,
Oh.
which for a young mother
Yeah.
producing her best body of work. Can you say a little bit more about that show? How many pieces are in it? Because I've only ever seen pictures of it, but you had these
Yeah.
acrylic glass prints and you had there was
Yeah.
installations and it
Yeah.
was
So I think I made 8 big pieces, and they went from a completely like white painted face, and then the next one would be like one added colour swipe on.
And
then
what was
sort
your
of went
reason
round.
for that? Starting from
Because I guess that was the beginning of the mask, was the white painted face, and then each one was adding on more paint, but in different colours. And then you got to the end one, and it was like really abstract, really colourful, crazy head, basically, just covered in paint.
and where did the name for the exhibition come from? Close to
Close to
nothing.
nothing. It was because I just felt like that's what my work is. It's a bit, in some ways, nothingy, because it's not a painting, it's not a photo, it's not a sculpture, it's portraiture, but it's not traditional portraiture. It's because, traditional portraiture is trying to capture that person, trying to capture their essence and like get them down in the paint as them, as their person. Whereas mine is, I'm trying to cancel myself out and trying to mask myself and layer it out rather than try and make an actual image of me.
Close to nothing.
Close to nothing.
Does that mean you consider the work nothing?
It sounds quite.
This goes back to that
now,
imposter
doesn't it?
syndrome. Like I feel like
it's just nothing.
it's just nothing. Just don't look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe there was probably a bit of that.
Do you feel like you are a bit flippant about your own work?
Yeah.
And is that just a coping mechanism, though?
Yeah.
Because if you're flippant about it, if someone else doesn't like it, it's fine.
Yeah. I think that's probably what it is as well. And also, I don't know, I just got a real thing. I've always had a real thing of you can't boast. Like you don't.
It's very British.
Boast, you don't. Yeah.
Very British.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people have it, and that is really difficult to be on social media and not feel like you're.
I can understand, especially.
Yeah.
Again, I think that goes back to the perceived idea. I told you that I spoke to some people and they were like, "Oh my God, Sophie's a proper artist," and you're like, "What?" So I know that you don't feel like it, even though all the accolades, the exhibitions, the solo shows, the sellout.
Yeah.
You don't feel it, which is it's a lovely trait. It's very humble. It's very warm, but
sometimes it's not a good thing, because I remember on my BA degree, I remember my tutor being like, if you don't believe in your work and you don't think it's good, then nobody else will. Because I think I was being so like, oh no, it's just nothing, it's just crap, it's not.
And is that why it helped having degree art almost come on board, to be that social proof, to go, they're doing the almost selling, I just have to make the work and get it to them, they can do the selling.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. Like,
very important.
And I would be horrific selling my own work. I could never do like another art fair or those ones where you have to you are your salesperson. I just couldn't do it. I'm terrible. I'd just be like, oh yeah, it's just silly.
It's just nothing, just my little bit of work. Yeah, very.
Where that's not really how I feel.
As I say, it's a lovely character trait, but not good for business at all. Sophie.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
So can we get into that close to nothing? How on earth do you find the time to produce when you are a young mum?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
Because you only had one then.
Yeah, I only had one.
Now got 3.
Actually, back then it was okay because there was only one. I had a really good group of friends who would look after him for me. They took him for a day. I remember took him off for a day so I could do some work.
And does that coincide, because this is where from 2016 onwards your career does it starts going, shall we say, the snowball goes over the crest of the hill and things start taking off. It's international art fairs, it's all those things. Is that as a result of, I understand it must have been very difficult having your son, but was the mindset, I'm not at M&S anymore, I'm an artist and a mum, so when I'm not a mum, I'm doing the art.
I think I was and I was really happy to be out of M&S, even though I did really like it there, but I didn't want to be doing that job. I love the people, the job, I was like, no. So I was really happy to be out of there and just be able to actually make all the things that I'd been thinking about making and not had time and stuff. And when babies are little, they're really easy. They go to bed at 7, you've got a whole evening that you can be doing
when
stuff
they start
in.
walking and moving around.
Now it's pretty impossible because they don't go to bed and it's really hard.
But that's
yeah.
right, though, isn't it? Were you getting to go to any of these art fairs, the international ones, or was it just a case of giving your work and?
Yeah, no, I did it because the first international one was, well, I think they went to the New York, to that, but the
Miami, did
next
you go
one,
to?
the Miami one, Scope Miami, I couldn't go to that because I was then pregnant with my next
Second.
child. She was born on the day that it started. No, yeah, she was born the day that it opened.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, so I was like, oh, I can't go to that. So I didn't go to that one, but then I did go to Miami in 2019. I went to the Pulse show.
How are you feeling at this point? Are you, is the imposter syndrome dwindling now? You're selling these international art fairs, you're Miami, New York.
Yeah, I think I was feeling pretty good then. Actually,
Yes, all right. So
because
you can say you're like, oh, gosh, I felt good about my work.
good
No.
about it there. Yeah, no, I think that was like a really good point. And I probably felt like I was an artist then.
Oh, you're living in London, you're selling at international art fairs, you're creating
Yeah.
work and still balancing being a mum of two.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was all good. That was all good times. And then what happened next? And we moved back out here in 2019.
Which is to Wiltshire.
And
what was the reason for that? Is that just raising children in London expense?
Yeah. And we were just renting in London and we wanted to buy somewhere. There's no way we could have bought anywhere in London. So we moved back out here. My mum and my family and everyone are still around here. So,
what did that feel like? Because there was that element of, I've got to be in London because London's where the art is. I want to be the Shoreditch and drinking my chai latte and I don't know, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Did it feel like a step backwards in your art career, but a step forwards in your life career?
Maybe. I don't think it did at the time, but
what I mean by that
like,
is just leaving London, the bright lights, the big city. Oh, I can't say I'm an artist that lives in London anymore.
If we hadn't had children, I definitely would not have left London. I'd be there now. But yeah, I think we just wanted the kids to be in the countryside and stuff. And so we moved back here. But yeah, I think.
How do you navigate that? I guess my question is, I've spoken to previous artists who've lived in London and the inputs are everywhere. You can just walk down the river and go to Tate Modern and go and look at a Rothko or an Auerbach or whoever that is. Wiltshire, not so many creative inputs. No. Did you feel that? Did that have an effect?
I think at the time I was like, we're only an hour away from London because it's really easy to get a train. I can just pop in. I'll go in every week and I'll go and do something. No, that did not.
With 2 children, I can't imagine you pop into London every week.
No, yeah. So I do feel now a little bit like out of it, like a bit out of the kind of, I don't know.
I feel like I'm missing opportunities. That, I'm not going to that opening, I'm not meeting that person, I'm not.
Yeah.
Or is it from a creative standpoint where I love where I live, but it's just green fields and cows and.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think you don't realise, like, in London, how much kind of outside influence you just get from just literally just walking around and like seeing interesting stuff all the time. Here is absolutely beautiful, and you're seeing beautiful stuff all the time. But
if a piece of street art came out in Burbage in Wiltshire, there might be a kick off with the local council.
Definitely, yeah. If I was a landscape artist, this would be absolutely prime time for me being here. But yeah, I'm not. So
did it affect your work moving back out here?
I think being not as anonymous has affected it a little bit because, like, in London, you're so anonymous. You can just do whatever you want.
Small fish in a
paint your face,
pond.
Do whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Nobody really knows you. It's fine. But whereas being back here, I don't know. I feel a bit more.
Oh, so yeah. I suppose if this is where mum and dad are, like, family, friends.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know.
Sophie's doing her little art things. Still.
Yeah,
I get that.
And I feel like sometimes I'm a bit almost scared to do like weird things, like my weird art ideas, because I'm like, oh God,
what are you afraid?
What will all the mums think?
Oh, really?
Stuff like that, which is, I don't know.
Have you ever asked any of the mums what they think?
I think they all like it. I think they all think it's pretty.
Because I think actually it's probably more interesting than you might imagine. I imagine some of these people who are mums.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably be quite impressed or at least have some respect that you, mum of 3, you're still pursuing your passion.
Yeah.
It's not just a finance. I mean, yes, it's financial. It's your sole income.
Yeah.
But it's still a passion.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. Respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respect
No, it's literally, I think it's just me thinking all these things.
Would you ever ask them outwardly what they thought? Did you have Come on,
Well-
friends, just come into the studio, critique my new work.
I probably would with some of them, yeah, if they're nice to me.
But that's the danger, isn't it? We want them all to be nice, when actually we
I
need to
know.
probably invite more critical voices into
Yeah.
our space.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we're moving around. So you've moved back to Wiltshire, and the
Mm.
career is going from strength to
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, it was all good. And then COVID happened.
Talk to me about COVID.
COVID was initially really scary because obviously it was like scary because of what it was and everyone was terrified, weren't they? But also because there was going to be no art fairs or there's no shows. Like, how am I going to actually make any money? That was really terrifying. So I think it was like a couple of weeks of that. And then the artist support pledge thing happened. And
Can you say a little bit more about that?
so I think it was Matthew Burrows, wasn't it? He started up on Instagram, kind of initiative where artists would post their work for, I think it had to be £200 or less. And yeah, anyone could buy it. So it was like a really low price point, so that it made it really accessible to loads of people. And it just exploded, and so many like really big artists were doing it as well. And like people's work was just being snapped up.
Is this where you saw your social media following increasing,
Yeah.
or is that already happening?
That had happened a little bit, I think.
Was there a moment where you suddenly went, God, I've had 3,000 followers and now I've got 30,000 followers?
Yeah, I've had two of those moments.
What were they?
One was when it was 2016. It was a good year for me. And I remember I went to Berlin with my husband and I had to turn my phone off because I'd had my notifications on and it was like ping, 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 ping. Because I got 10,000 followers over like in a day.
As a result of what though?
Because the tax collection reposted one of my pictures.
What's the tax collection?
They were like a huge social media Instagram account. I think they
Like an art sharing page?
Yeah, it's like an art sharing page thing.
And just out of nowhere? You haven't
just out of nowhere.
communicated with them? They
No.
just found you?
I
and
had
gone,
just
I love
like,
that work.
I don't know if I was late to Instagram, but I didn't have an Instagram until 2015, I think. But anyway, I was just like posting bits and bobs and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, they must have just seen it and then they reposted it. And then, yeah, I got loads of followers. And I was like,
Did that equate to sales though?
It did a bit, yeah.
And what was the second moment where you noticed a bit?
The other one was like a couple of years ago, and another like massive art account on Instagram reposted a reel of mine, and then I got like 20,000, 25,000 followers or something.
Do you find that helps when you like having that audience already? I mean, I know we can't always argue that Instagram followers equate to buyers.
Yeah.
But going back to what we said back in the day, you had a Nokia 3210 you couldn't take a photo on. Whereas now, your work is being seen by tens of thousands of people probably every week.
Yeah, it freaked me out actually.
Did it?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, Sophie, why are you being so weird about this?
No, because I think we should explore that because you're masking yourself in all your own art.
Yeah.
And now 30,000 people are looking at you. So that mask and that veneer is God, people can see what I do.
Yeah, I know. That freaks me out. It does really freak me out. That I think when I first started doing all this work, social media wasn't a thing. There was Facebook, but you weren't going to put your artwork on Facebook really back then. So I could be so anonymous and just put my artwork out there. I could have even just not gone to shows and stuff, and nobody would have even.
And I think that's at the crux of it, isn't it? You're hiding yourself.
Yeah.
But yet now there's no hiding
now
from
like,
30,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
How do you deal with that?
Do
you feel a responsibility to that 30,000 people?
Yeah.
Or do you try and...
I've got a bit of a love-hate kind of relationship with it. Probably everyone does. But because I really love making reels and stuff like that. And I like doing that sort of stuff. But then I get so nervous about posting things. I don't know why. I just feel, oh my God, this is going out to lots of people. And I don't know. It's putting yourself out there, isn't it? It's really scary.
And on social media, you are putting yourself out there, Sophie, not just the hidden Sophie in the pictures.
I know.
You're there putting the brushstrokes on canvas. You're doing the reels. You're doing the...
Yeah.
But you still do it.
I do it. Because I think it's interesting to show the process of things. And I don't know, everyone loves behind the scenesy kind of things, don't they?
Oh, no, I
Like,
agree. I love watching
Yeah.
your reels and doing all those sorts of things, but I just like to get behind the psyche of
Yeah.
the artwork is you hiding yourself, yet you
Mm.
have to present yourself
Yeah.
making the artwork of you hiding yourself.
Yeah. I know.
It's like Inception,
Yeah,
a
it's-
face within a face within a face
Yeah.
that you don't want to show the
I
face.
know. I don't know. I hate having to have myself on things, but I think, I guess you don't have to do that, but
I think, like you
We're
said, that
kind of
people
in an
want to
age
see the
where-
process. We
Yeah.
want to see the behind the
Yeah.
scenes. People buy from people.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, your work is more striking than most, but on the same respect, we do. I was talking about this with someone the other day about AI art. We want the story.
Yeah.
No one wants to put, oh, look at that beautiful picture of my mantelpiece. Oh, who's the artist? Oh, I made it on AI.
Yeah.
No. Oh, that's a Sophie Derrick. She paints these mad things,
Yeah.
paint all over herself,
Mhm.
rephotographs it, prints it, paints it again. It's
I
the
think that's the
story.
thing, isn't it? I think everyone's a bit scared of AI, but I do think with things like art, like it's such a human thing that
It's soul.
that's what people want from it. They want the human element of it.
Imperfection
not-
is human.
I think AI is interesting as a tool for making things, and
That's a
that's a whole other.
whole AI is a
Yeah.
whole different
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
So during COVID, dare I say, you actually had quite a good
Yeah, so it ended up being quite
financially,
good.
quite good.
Yeah, it was really good for maybe a year or two. Because I started doing prints as well then. I hadn't done like limited edition prints really before that. So I'd started doing
Great, I get to
limited
ask this
edition prints.
question. Sophie, why do you
Yeah.
only make print runs of 19?
Oh yeah.
19, you've intrigued me. Since we spoke, I was like, why 19?
I know, it's so random.
I've gone off on one there. That's my fault, listeners. But talk to me a little bit more about making these prints for the first time, or like you say, making that more accessible for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably because of the artist support pledge and stuff, and just making it a bit more accessible for
You're not
lots
going
of
to give
people.
one of these glass acrylic originals for 200 quid, are you?
Yeah, no.
Just simply because it probably costs thousands
Yeah,
to
it
make.
cost
so
me
it
a
just
lot
wouldn't
more
be
to
about-
make them. So we started making the limited edition prints, and yeah, they went really well. So that was good. And then,
But again, talk to, because people might think, oh, Sophie's just photographed a glass acrylic and it's gone back to being flat. They weren't, were they? You painted.
no, so they're hand painted, hand finished. So it was essentially the way that I make an original, but just in a smaller scale and in an edition.
And why an edition of 19?
Oh yeah, 19 is, this is such a random thing, and I wish I hadn't done it now because it's so silly. But it's the sum of the dates of my first solo show.
I like that. So what was the date of the first solo show?
It was the 6th of the 10th, 2011. So if you add up all the numbers individually, it goes to 19.
And is that just a thing that you've
I
kept?
hope I've done that right now. We'll work
Yeah,
that
we'll
out
work it
later.
out. I'm sure it's 19. We're both questioning our own maths here. We're fluffy creative. Oh, maths? Who
I
does
got
that?
to well.
But that's quite cool. And has that run through since then?
Yeah, so now I do most of my editions
like that.
in a 19. Yeah, and actually, weirdly, I did an open edition of a really small print a couple of years ago, and 19 sold.
Weird.
I know. I was like, oh, that's so weird. 19 must be
Okay.
the number. Yeah.
19 is Sophie Derrick's number.
Yeah. Really weird. So yeah, now I just do 19s.
And did that open, as I say, open a market that
Yeah.
makes it a bit more accessible for people to own your work?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also because obviously most of my stuff is really huge. So
Yeah, it's
But on
got
a
such gravitas. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking at glass acrylic here that's 1.5 meters by a meter. It's
yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, I think that's
And
180,
must weigh a
120. Yeah, they
Yes.
do. They are really heavy. But also, yeah, it was just like people were in their homes looking at their walls and wanting to do their home stuff and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
really good for a lot of artists, I think, that year. But
Yeah, I
then,
remember. Yeah, there was people, God, doing every sort of renovation known to
Yeah.
man. So I imagine some bespoke artwork with the right
Yeah.
people was.
yeah, I think it was a lot of people that kind of had seen my stuff before and were thinking about it and stuff. And then COVID happened, and then they were like, let's just get it.
And
Because-
also, like you say, when you open up a print run, people were like looking at these glass acrylics and going, God, I can't really
Yeah.
justify that. I've not got a wall
Yeah.
space big enough for that.
Yeah.
But I love Sophie's work.
Yeah.
So they get that opportunity to then have a piece.
Yeah.
And again, from a business point of view, an economic point of view, for you, that opens another avenue.
Yeah.
How often are you doing these? Because you still do limited edition print runs, but not...
I haven't done one for a while, actually. I think the last one I did was a couple of years ago. But I might do one this year, I think, possibly.
What holds you back from doing print runs? Is that something where you go, oh, that's an easy way for an artist to make money?
Yeah.
A print run?
Yeah.
Rather than making these big one-off originals?
Yeah, I think because I don't make my series very often anymore, like I'll do one like every 2 years, like a new sort of painted face series. I kind of want to get the originals out there and get that series a bit established before I'll then make prints of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's probably why I haven't.
Is that simply because the process is so in depth?
Yeah.
Because that seems like some artists might think, God, she only does a series every couple of years.
Yeah, I try to do more. At the moment, it's only every couple of years because I have no time. But
shall we talk about that? Because how do you do that? Because now you're a mum of what, 9, 7, and a 2-year-old, or 3? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, 9, 7, and 2.
9, 7, and 2. 3 children, all very demanding, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
especially the 2-year-old.
Yeah.
You're not exactly time rich.
No.
How does that work? Because I think other people, again, looking in will go, oh, Sophie Derrick, she must be, oh, she's at this opening, she's at that opening, she's quaffing champagne, she's doing that. And most of the time, that is not the case, right?
No. I'm always like art fairs and stuff. I'm like, can I go? Yeah, okay, I'm going to go, like literally on the day, because it's so difficult to juggle all the kids and like where they're going to be and everything.
What do the kids think about mum being an artist? What do they think about the work?
Oh, I think they think I'm a bit crazy. I heard my daughter talking to her friend the other day, actually, about it. She's going, yeah, like for some reason, she just paints herself. She just paints her face. I don't know why. Like,
oh, really? Is that the 7-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Sounds like she's got some sass.
I know. But yeah, I think they've just grown up with it. So they just...
It's the norm for them.
Yeah, it's the norm.
Are they creative? Are they artistic?
Yeah, they are actually. The older two both are, but my son is really, really good at drawing and like that. He is definitely a visual kind of arty person. And then my daughter she's really like more kind of makey, like she likes making things. She's also quite academic. So I don't know. Yeah, they're kind of arty. And then the little one, I don't know yet. We'll have to see that.
A bit young to be making any predictions there just yet. So go on then, because how do you find the time? What does that look like for you? Because we're in your studio now. It's a lovely space. But how often do you get in here?
So I've got like 3 school days a week to be in here while they're all out at school and childcare and stuff.
What do you find you're doing in those 3 days?
Wow. I find it so hard to be like on a real time scale for things. Like I get in here and I'm like, oh my God, right now I need to be creative. I need to make something. I need to do this idea that I've been thinking about for ages. And it's so much pressure that I end up like...
paralyzation through.
Yeah.
There's so much you need or should be doing.
Yeah.
You end up doing none of them because you're just paralyzed through paradox of choice. It's like, I could do this, I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do
I probably get to Wednesday and I'm like, right now I actually really need to do some stuff. So Wednesdays is usually a good day for me because I'm like, I've done nothing the rest of the week.
Is it Parkinson's law? The work fills the time allotted. So if you're getting to the end of the day on Wednesday and you're like, God, I haven't produced anything. I've got 2 hours now to produce something.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And that makes more sense in terms of why you only manage to produce a series every couple of years.
Yeah.
But I guess my question with that is, well, what does Sophie Derrick's day-to-day look like as an artist?
I usually, most weeks, will have stuff that I have to do. I'll be getting stuff ready for the next art fair or like sending prints off or the prints will be back here and I'll have to paint on them. And that's like a good couple of weeks work if I've got a few that I'm doing for a fair. So yeah, I have lots of the day-to-day stuff that I'm doing.
To-do list is always... Yeah. There's a to-do list always there.
Yeah. There's always something that I should be making or doing. But yeah, the thing that I find really hard is having time to play around and do new ideas and stuff.
Let's talk about that because your art is very defined in its style.
Yeah.
How do you want to step away from that? Do you want to experiment with something different? Okay, in an ideal world, you were time rich and you were just going to go, right, for the next few months, I'm going to experiment with this.
I have got so many ideas that I have had for literally 10 years now that I just haven't been able to make materialize because I've just had so much other stuff going on. And then they've built up in my brain. And then I'm like, I almost feel like I've done it because I've thought about it so much.
Oh, okay.
In a weird way.
Yeah. Are these any ideas you want to share, or is it completely different to the style that you're doing now, or would it be on the same realms?
I think I think it would be in the same kind of realm. What I'm working on at the moment is I challenged myself to make 100 small pieces that are a bit more experimental and just trying to get these ideas I've had for so long out in like a little kind of
with the idea
experiment.
The ones that work might go bigger.
Yeah, so I'm going to call them maquettes because a maquette is just like a sculptor's first little experimental piece, and then they will, if it works, they're going to make it into a bigger piece. So that's what I'm thinking with these, that hopefully some of them might be quite interesting, and then I could make them in a bigger scale.
When you say you're going to make them small, they're just going to be still small photographs of you that you work into?
I'm going to be in like little, like this is a little example.
Oh, okay. So that's actually audio. It's a sort of a cutout of a little bit of Sophie's face rather than the whole thing.
Yeah. So they're going to be like printing onto different materials and using different paint techniques and stuff like that. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Should we talk about paint techniques? Because at the beginning of this, we talked about how you were slapping your face with oils and acrylic, which to anyone listening, please don't do that, because there are some toxic things in paint. Yeah. But you've got around that now.
Yeah.
Being the master maker, because you make your own pigments now.
I do make my own. Yeah. Because I have always put on like a barrier product. So it's like a special effect makeup thing, which like seals your skin.
Yeah.
And I would only ever use oil paints that have got like the AP stamp on it, which means that they've been tested for toxicity. Yeah, even though you shouldn't still be putting it on your face.
Yeah, we still don't advise that.
Don't advise that. Anyway, so I have always been quite careful with it. But in recent years, I thought I should probably take it a little bit further. And I now make my own paint. So I use non-toxic earth pigments. And then I use olive oil as a binder. And then put Vaseline in it. Mm-hmm. Because it looks exactly like oil paint. It just gives it that glossy,
but yeah, you don't.
Thickness.
There's no limitations on the color. You can still create the bold colors and everything.
Yeah, you can still get really decent colors that are like non-toxic.
All from natural pigments.
Yeah. I think the more crazy, really bright colors are synthetic, but you can still get non-toxic versions of them. Yeah, I haven't had it tested like my little
But you've
mixture,
never had any problems with your skin or anything?
No.
But yeah, just emphasising the point, when you see Sophie's work, please don't just start throwing paint over yourself.
No.
Sophie's very skilled, she's trained, and she's worked for many years to understand what can and can't do.
Yeah.
So what has the last couple of years looked like for you in terms of sales, art? I mean, you're still doing art fairs with people.
Yeah.
Any plans for any solo shows, or is that potentially off the back of your challenge to do 100 maquettes that you might go, oh, here's another idea for
Yeah. I have potentially got a solo show next year with Degree Arts. I just need to make some work. So yeah, I'm hoping that.
Is that a pressure? Or is it one of those where you go, oh, the closer I get to this, the faster the deadline I have to make them?
Yeah, I have to have a deadline to do actually making anything. But yeah, I feel quite good at the moment in terms of I've got lots of ideas and I feel like I've got some things that could become a solo show. Whereas maybe a couple of years ago, I really was feeling a bit like,
what do you think has changed since then?
My daughter's got a bit older. I think having the third one that was hard. In terms of being able to work and stuff. I can
imagine, yeah. That's
really hard. And also, obviously, like the state of the world in the last few years has just been a bit mental, and all that kind of stuff does affect. I mean, it affects everything, doesn't it? But like, it affects people's ability to buy artwork, because artwork is
I suppose economic, social situations that we're in the world. Suddenly people are going, I'm not going to spend, especially not on a luxury such as art.
Yeah, exactly. So
have you noticed that?
Yeah, I think, maybe 22, 23 was quite difficult. And I think that was like coincided with the all the economic stuff going on.
Stuff, God, yeah.
Which did really affect things.
But still great that you've got those outlets through Degree Art, through the art fairs.
Yeah, thank God.
That's
they still...
a good relationship you've built with Degree Art, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been with them now since 2010, I think. But yeah, they have been like really amazing champions.
How many artists are rep by Degree Art?
They've got quite a lot.
But presumably coming up with them while they were being a new entity.
Yeah.
That's probably a bonus as well. Rather than now, if someone wanted to apply to Degree Art, you might get lost in an ether of lots of artists, whereas you were probably quite...
Yeah, I probably got in there at quite a good time. And then because they took me to the art fairs at quite an early time in there.
And your work is you can't fail but recognise it. It's so punchy.
Yeah, it's pretty bold. Pretty bold. But yeah, no, they have been really good to me. Yeah.
So you're going to start exploring some more new ideas.
Yeah.
And hopefully that leads to something bigger. So potential solo show if you start making some work.
If I actually make some work.
Are you going to give yourself the deadline, or are you going to wait for Degree Art to give you a deadline? We're putting the show on in 6 months' time. We need some work.
Yeah, I think we need to discuss this. Because we've been like floating around. Oh, maybe spring next year. Maybe, I don't know, it keeps moving because... Probably because I have not really, I don't know.
Where would that be, in London? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I just need to get my acting gear now and actually start making stuff, which I do feel like I'm a bit more able to do now. I feel like now my daughter's a bit more, she's off at her childminder 3 days a week and stuff, and she's really happy there. So yeah, I feel like a bit more time. I've got a bit more headspace.
Yeah.
Because I think before, even though she wasn't there and the other two were at school, I would literally come here and just be like, oh my God.
This is just your quiet time.
Yeah, this is just like...
Have a couple of hours of
time to just sit and stare. Yeah. So I feel like I'm mentally a bit more in the game again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've just come off the back of the British Art Fair at the Saatchi Gallery. Again, another accolade that many people listening to this would go, holy shit, Saatchi Gallery.
I know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How was that? Talk to me about that.
That was really good. I was so happy to be there at the Saatchi Gallery because it's such an amazing venue, isn't it? It's so cool. And I always loved the Saatchi Gallery anyway, but when it was the actual
Saatchi, just the name gives you a bit more social proof in the world of art, Sophie.
I know.
It's rather than Barry's gallery down the road. It's the Saatchi Gallery.
I know. It is really cool. I was really happy to be.
Do you think that helps? People see that you do these things, the Saatchi Gallery, British Art Fair, all these art fairs. That's what I mean. I spoke to people and they're like, oh, she's a proper artist. Saatchi Gallery, British Art Fair.
I know.
You're putting
it's
a
cool.
face. You don't believe it yourself.
No, I know. No, I do. I think it is really cool. It is really cool. And I don't know. That is probably the one where I've been like, oh, this is really cool actually to be showing work there at the Saatchi. Even though it's not like owned by Saatchi anymore, is it? I don't think so, but it's still does it? Yeah. It's still
the British Art Fair as well.
Yeah.
Up there, Royal Academy, British Art Fair. They do have some sort of gravitas attached.
Yeah, no, they do. And it is really good to be doing those kind of stuff.
Have you got any sort of goals or aspirations? If you go, oh, if I get that, or I do this, or I have that show there, I will be. There's no disputing. I will be the artist that I say I am.
I don't know. I think, what would I really love to do? I would really love to have a show like in Berlin or New York or somewhere a bit different.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah. Or obviously there's like Freeze and all those are really biggies, but
it's so interesting, isn't it? Because there's always like people go, I dream of being at Hampstead Art Fair. Or I dream of being the back to the Affordable Art Fair.
Yeah.
And then there's always another level up,
there's always another level. I really doubt I would ever get to Freeze, but I love Freeze.
Not if you keep talking like that to yourself, Sophie. You've got to have some belief in yourself. You've done more than, as I say, you've probably done more in your career than many artists will ever get to do. And you're blushing and putting your head in your hands. And it's so funny because you really have.
I guess so. I don't know. like you said, like you get to the thing that you've really wanted to do, and then you're like, oh, okay, what's next?
Because once you reach the top of the mountain, you've got to go on another journey. It's the climb, not the pinnacle of the mountain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I do sometimes think, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this now.
But when you're in it, do you still feel though? I mean, I can see the imposter syndrome is rife in you, and I'm sat here going, "What on earth?" It's crazy because I even said to you when you said yes, I was pretty happy when you said you were going to be on the Creative No One podcast because I've admired your work for a very long time.
Oh, thank you.
And in my mind, you're a quote unquote proper artist as well. I mean, we've had a conversation to go, "No, I'm just a mum of three that's bumping. I don't know what I'm doing," but I don't think that's true. I think there is drive there.
Yeah.
But I can imagine it's not easy.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I think I've got like a weird mix of real confidence in myself and my work and a drive to want to do it and get it out there. But then I've also got like this, God, but don't actually look at it in your work, like, look at me. Or like, yeah.
You're the subject, you're underneath all this paint, but then it's the character. It's not the character, it's the character, it's the...
Yeah, what's the word?
It's the mask.
Yeah.
It's the mask that you put on. It's the confident mask of all your paintings, but underneath the artist is still...
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Forever questioning.
I have thought about this a lot recently, that it's literally probably only been in like the last year or two that I've thought about my work. Like I've always been like, no, it's nothing to do with me. It's literally just, I'm just the canvas and I'm just...
Really? Telling myself, in the last year?
Yeah.
You've been painting this work?
Maybe a year or two. But yeah, I don't know. But
has anyone else ever called you on it going, this work's more about self than you probably realise and we portray to others?
Yeah.
You're very humble, Sophie. You're very sweet and you're very humble and you're very like, self-deprecating about your work.
Yeah.
And it could be a British trait.
Yeah.
But as I say, you've smashed it.
Yeah.
But yet,
I think like...
still you don't feel like you've smashed it.
I feel like I have done a lot of things that as a young artist, like would have been like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy with that. And I am so happy with that. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I need to do more, move on, do more stuff.
I think that's every creative, though. Surely we're always on to the...
Yeah.
This is going to probably sound like a bit of a rude question, but do you feel like you've rested on your laurels a little bit in the style that you've got? I know that's been a necessity because of children and family and life and all those things, but...
Yeah, probably have a little bit in the last few years, for sure. People have always said, are you ever going to do anything different? And for a long time, I was like, there's still loads of stuff that I want to do within this idea. So no, I'm going to continue doing this and do all these different bits and bobs.
Do you think having a style is important?
I think that people just like inevitably have a style. Whatever you do, like your drawing or whatever, like that is just your style. And I think your style can come out in different ways and different genres of art and stuff. And I think you can always see a style in things, in people's work. But I guess it kind of is important in a way.
In terms of people recognizing your work, in terms of your social media presence, it's almost like I can always see a piece of yours and go, it's a Sophie Derrick. Whereas if you suddenly started changing your style now, would that be a risk?
It probably would be a bit of a risk, but...
Is that a risk you might want to take?
Yeah, I think my ideas that I've got are probably a little bit of a departure. Tiny bit, not completely different, but yeah, I've got some things that might look a bit different to this.
I asked the question because I think a lot of the time we're like, as creatives, especially in photography, you've got to have a style. That's what the person will book you for. Whereas I come from a world where my advertising photography, it's always someone else's brief. We want it to look like X.
Right.
And my thing has always been a sort of recreation.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but I just wonder whether, in some respects, we are, as creatives, bullied into you've got to have a style because that's how people will recognize you. That's where you'll fit in the gallery. Yeah. That's where you'll fit with that gallery or that curator or whatever. Whereas the likes of, say, someone like Damien Hirst, I know he's built up his name, but he can do a sculpture. He can do print run of flowers. He can do a dot painting. But he's a business.
That was nearly me as well once. I had a little interview there.
Really?
Damien Hirst.
Go on then.
Didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
No. I was terrible at interviews back then. I was like, doesn't he like come into the studio and stuff? And they were probably like, get this one out of here. She's
Can't really fangirl if you were.
Yeah, I know.
to.
So anyway, sorry, that wasn't it.
What other modern contemporary artists do you look at? So that was a bit of a random out of the blue question. I was just thinking about Hearst and looking at an article about Frank Auerbach on the
Yeah.
Are there any other major influences?
Oh,
I mean,
I
I've seen the
think-
Jenny Savile show recently. didn't you?
yeah, I loved Jenny Savile. I think those young British artists were a huge influence on me at an early age.
Same.
I know most people don't really rate them, but I
My
absolutely
daughter, like when I was studying, we went to see, and I saw Tracy Emin's Bed in person.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't get it at all.
Yeah,
Now I'm older. Now I've been through some stuff. I go,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I remember going to see the Saatchi show with them all in it, and I was just like, this is amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I
for
didn't
anyone who
know
doesn't
art
know-
could be like this kind of thing.
And it really was one of the Gary Humes, Chapman brothers, Damien Hirst, Tracy Emin, for all those people.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I just loved all their work because I just felt like ones that I loved was Cornelia Parker's Blown Up Shed, Rachel Whiteread, her concrete buildings and stuff. Richard Wilson's
I
that.
think it was a resurgence of sort of conceptual art.
It was like
wasn't
conceptual art,
really?
but it was really visually amazing at the same time. Because some art you were like, I don't really get it. But their work, I was like, this is just incredible. There's so much. It's amazing to look at, but there's such a idea to think about behind it. And it's
It's a kind of
really got me.
buzz time in the UK as well, wasn't it? Everything in
Yeah.
England was cool.
Yeah. It
We were the
really
centre
was.
again. London was cool. Everything
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, it was really.
Now, maybe not so much now.
No.
God, which is sad, isn't it, really?
But
anyway,
yeah,
that's
so
another-
these were all like big influences because I think it just, opened up this whole other.
showed you what could be done.
Yeah, and that you can do
Yeah.
mental things. And it's like.
I think that's important
Oh,
for
God.
artists to go, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to be able to paint yourself in bright blue or whatever that might be.
Yeah. So yeah, those were a big influence. And like people like Lucian Freud, all those kind of painters, and he was like such a painterly, tactile.
Yeah, it's all the, as they say, the Jenny Saviles, the Freud, the Auerbach, you can see the brushstrokes, you
Yeah.
can see the movement,
Yeah.
you can see all of
Yeah,
that.
that's what I've always loved.
But yet yours is almost a lot more polished than theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Just an
probably is now.
observation.
It probably is now. Probably not so much back then. Yeah, a few years ago it was a bit more
Rough and ready.
rough. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I've got very polished in my
Style.
old age.
But also in how you present as well, I think it needs that polish. When it comes on glass acrylic, there's a certain element that, it's just slick.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bit of a weird word, but the material's slick.
Yeah.
The work's slick.
Yeah. But that's what I'm going to do with these my little 100 pieces.
Have you set yourself a deadline on that?
The deadline keeps changing.
You need to write something on the studio wall. The deadline is this.
I've got all my things here that I'm like, do this.
It's looking at post-it
I know.
notes, but
Yeah.
not meeting of your own self.
No.
Not meeting any of your own self-inflicted
But I
deadlines.
have actually started doing some, which is like a big deal for me.
Yeah, starting is the biggest step a lot of the time, isn't it?
So I've just actually ordered loads of different material prints and stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go and try and go back a little bit to the more rough, not so polished kind of
Freer.
bit freer. Yeah, just a bit more experimental and kind of get all these things out of my brain because it's actually really annoying now.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure when you see an
It's
image,
so annoying.
so much
Yeah, I
going
just
on in the
think-
brain. But like you say, you've
Mm.
got to give yourself a bit of a break, Sophie. You are a mum of 3. And
Yeah.
to have the prolific career that you have and to let the listeners know that it's not all plain sailing.
No.
There was full-time jobs at M&S, three
Yeah.
kids pulling you from left, right and centre, but yet it's still doable
Yeah. Yeah. It is still
to be an
doable.
artist, to be a creative, to excel, to be a quote-unquote proper artist, Sophie.
Proper artist. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's definitely had ups and downs. It's not all been like amazing times. I mean, it has been some amazing times, but yeah.
Has there been a moment where you, apart from when you came out of the Masters,
I mean,
later on potentially, has there been any times where you've gone, oh no, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore?
There's been loads of times like that when I've just been like, I'm just going to go and get a 9 to 5 job somewhere.
But deep down, you've never done that because at the core of you is a creative.
Yeah, I just always think, no, there's more that I want to do with this. I don't feel like I'm not done. Yeah.
Are we done? I think we've spoken about a lot, haven't we?
Speaking about.
Is there anything that we haven't spoken about that you think we should have done? Some key element that I've missed out in my research?
No, I feel like we've spoken about a lot of things.
Yeah. That's what we want. Just a nice, friendly chat. Two creatives having a chat about process, about ideas, about creative journeys, about hurdles. A lot of the time, I think most of the audience want to hear the hurdles.
Yeah.
Going, God, I had no idea. Sophie, juggling 3 children, a life, being a mum, being out of that environment, struggling with your own ideas, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's all universal stuff, right?
Yeah. I do think being an artist is really hard sometimes. Like, my husband is always like, Sophie, this is the best job in the world. Stop being so like negative sometimes. Just get on with it. But I'm like, yeah, but sometimes it is actually so hard because.
Do you think you're a negative person or a positive person?
I didn't. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that because I'm not negative, but sometimes I'm just like, this is just so hard to. I think it's probably just my personality type. Like, I just think about things for so long, and I can't actually do it.
That's a creative thing, though. Do you think creative people have more imposter issues, and also
more issues?
More issues because the issues that we do create in this crazy prediction machine that is our brain are often more creative.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting, Sophie, because as I said before, we'd spoken, and then I just, from the outside, naivety looking in, you just go, holy shit, she's smashing it. And the reality of any creatives, it goes, like we said, in peaks and troughs. And sometimes you have to focus on the art. Sometimes you can't focus on the art because the 2-year-old vomited all over.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like frustrating. That's why it's like you have to dedicate so much time to being an artist. And if you can't do that, it's like painfully frustrating.
And also, like we said, you have to develop so much time being a social media content creator as well now, when actually most of us would really just like to go, I just want to make the art. It'd be great if someone else came and did all the social media stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. There's so many different parts to being an artist now. You have to.
But I think that's the really interesting bit, the perceived idea that most people looking into you, Sophie, would go, oh, she's got her shit together. She knows exactly what she's doing. But like we said before we turned the microphones on, we're all winging it.
Yeah.
Absolutely all winging it.
Absolutely winging it. Yeah.
So, Sophie, we've got a bit of a closing tradition on the Creative Nowhere Land podcast. We asked you for some sort of inspiring quote that sits with you, and also someone in your network who you think would be an interesting guest to come on the Creative Nowhere Land podcast in the future.
Okay.
In any order you like.
Okay. I'm going to do the quote first because I feel like this really fits in what we've been talking about a lot. About me, anyways. The position of the artist is humble. He is essentially channeled by Mondrian.
Okay. What does that mean for you?
I do feel like that kind of fits with my work quite a lot because I am like covering myself up. I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? Because it's a duality because I am there in the work, but then I'm like covering myself up and putting myself out. I guess trying to be a little bit humble. And then, I'm literally the channel.
Yeah.
To come through.
Yeah, you are the art, you are the channel, but yet you're still hidden. Yeah, I think when people see your work, they'll be able to read the subtext between that.
Yeah.
I like that, Mondrian. Okay, and what about someone in your network who you think would be an interesting guest?
Okay, I am going to say 2 people.
Cool.
I spoke to you about this before. I'm going to say my husband.
Talk to you about your husband.
Ollie of Depart Logistics.
And what is Depart's Logistics?
He delivers and installs artwork. So that's what he does for his job.
Getting a bit flippant on that, but proper artwork, isn't it? It's not just...
Yeah, so he's the opposite to me. Like, I'm just in my studio on my own. He's literally seeing artists every single day and galleries and framers. Loads of people he's meeting. He knows so many artists.
A bit of an insight into the art world.
Yeah, so he's like my ear to the ground. What's going on in the art world?
Cool.
Like what artists are doing, what artists are saying.
Do you think that's been a benefit for you?
Yeah.
How long have you and Ollie been together? Or has it been doing that?
Like, I think it's 18 or a long time.
And he's been doing that?
He's been doing this for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, when we moved from London, he moved here, he started up this business.
What was he doing before?
He was an estate agent.
Was he?
Yeah. But he's like very arty, and he probably should have gone and done art at uni, but he did like marketing or something random.
And then 5 years ago we hit COVID and all those sorts of times.
Yeah.
So then did he have a bit of a realisation? My wife,
He was like,
the love of my life, my partner, she's immersed in the art world. I'm actually probably more creative than I think I am.
Yeah. And he just really didn't want to be an estate agent anymore. Yeah, when we moved back here, he set this business up, and now we don't. But
that's very cool. I bet he's got some interesting stories.
Got so many interesting
stories that he's not probably allowed to tell us, though, unfortunately.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be very interesting.
I feel like you could give like a good little insight into the art world point of view.
Okay, that'd be very interesting. Who was the other that you were considering?
The other one, as I say, was who I just love, and I love like watching her journey. It's Charlotte Keats.
Okay, who's Charlotte Keats?
She's pretty mega.
Well, what does Charlotte Keats do?
So she does, it's very different to my work. She does these almost like dreamlike interior painting.
Okay.
But she's got a real style. It's very architectural.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. But she has just done she got this job with Hermes.
Hermes. Wow.
To do the window display thing. So they like almost made a 3D one of her paintings.
Wow.
Really cool.
Yeah, but she shows someone in your network that we could potentially get.
Oh, you could.
Cool.
Huh?
You never know. Maybe we go for both. So I think they'd actually both be really interesting, but in both very different ways.
Yeah. Charlotte, she's on like mega art. Okay.
So I'm sat here talking to you, Sophie, going, oh, Sophie's a proper artist, and you're looking at Charlotte going, oh, Charlotte's a proper artist. Okay, that says a lot.
Like she's a real proper artist.
Great, I think done, aren't we? We've spoken about a lot of stuff, Sophie.
I think so.
I just want to reiterate, thank you, Sophie Derrick. You're a proper artist, so thank you for coming on our podcast and telling your story and sharing your journey.
Welcome, thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Noah Land podcast. If you found anything in this episode useful or inspiring, please consider subscribing or sharing it with a friend. You can also help the podcast by clicking the support the show link in the show notes or by grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noah Land shop. And here's the bonus. When you join the community through our website, you'll get a special discount code that gives you free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join the community. Every bit of support helps us keep sharing these inspiring stories. So, thanks again for listening, and until next time, explore, inspire, and create.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?